I've covered a lot of manga on this channel over the past couple of months, ranging from strange to pretty good. But the manga I'm going to be talking about today are among some of the worst manga I've ever read in my entire life. And we'll be starting things off with One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. This one is kind of a deep cut, as not too many people know about this series. I know in the West that Gash Bell ended up being the series that was super popular in America, but One Piece happens to be very popular in the country of Malaysia. And to be honest, I think they should keep it because there is nothing worth saving about this series. Right off the bat, it stars a character named Monkey D. Luffy, and we never know what the D stands for. It is just completely hidden from us. Not to mention his family names include Monkey D. Dragon and Monkey D. Garp. What is up with these names? Oda himself is not even original because you have this character Chopper, who is named after Barry the Chopper from Full Metal Alchemist, and it's really just disingenuous to see. A lot of story beats in One Piece is actually ripped directly from Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis, where instead of turning into a cockroach, Luffy turns into a rubber man. And that's another thing about One Piece that really sucks. Rubber? That's your ability? Genuinely? You have a main character of a series aimed towards little boys and you give him the ability to stretch? You don't give him like a Gatling gun or like a bazooka or like an elephant gun or like gears or anything. No, he could just stretch. And don't get me started on the lame crew that this dude surrounds himself with. This is a pirate series, yet his crew is so boring. You have Zoro, who is very kind to people of color, but that's his only trait. You have Sanji, who hates women so much and only goes after Zoro, and that's his entire character. Robin loses her melanin. Jinbei is a big fish. Frankie is just a lame ripoff of RoboCop. Brook is just some dude who plays music all the time. Like, why do you even need him on the ship? Nami can be trusted with finances, but what kind of characterization is that? The only character I liked was Usopp, and then he ended up leaving the crew and never came back ever, and it really made me upset. The series itself is also really short for some reason, and it's like, did Oda just give up on this one? I don't know what his deal was, but it feels like him himself was like, nah, I can't deal with this anymore. It does make you wonder how different society would have been if One Piece ended up being big in America instead of Shaman King. But you know what, I don't really want to live in that reality. And don't even get me started on the debate of One Piece versus Bobobo, because Bobobo clears it any day of the week. It's just not even a contest. I really need to wash my hands of this manga, but I can't even do that because all the manga I talk about today are bad. And speaking of, let me talk about Chainsaw Man by Tatsuki Fujimoto. This one has the opposite problem of One Piece where it's too damn long. There's over 3,000 chapters for this one. Like, bro, I get it. Just stop. For those who don't know, Chainsaw Man's about a boy named Daniel. He's a little loser kid that hangs out with his dumb dog. And all of a sudden, oh look, the dog can turn him into a chainsaw. Now David has dog chainsaw powers. Then this really cool lady named Makima is like, here Dylan, here, you could join my company and I'll give you a roof. And then Dominic is like, wow, oh my god, food. Yeah, I never took writing classes in college, but don't you want to make the main character likable? I mean, Diego is just not that guy. All throughout the series, Dallas is just this annoying kid that's only focused on women. He only cares about touching women and all this gross stuff. He wants like such selfish things like a bed or like a roof over his head or like food. And it's like, Dean, you kind of suck, dude. Dante isn't even like the only character we have to deal with, because you have Arthur over here and he kind of sucks. He's supposed to be like a big brother figure, but he doesn't do anything. Then you have Power and she's okay, I guess. I like woman. Yeah, the whole thing with Drew is that he is a devil hunter, but these devil designs are so lame. Like, Tomato Devil? Who on God's green flat earth is afraid of tomatoes, bro? Come on, Fujimoto. What were you doing when you were writing this? Like, you could have tapped into primal fears, like a fear of like falling or like a fear of darkness, but like no, you have stupid devils. Like, what's a katana? What is that? I mean, not even like a gun devil makes sense, but I gotta like do this stuff for him. Fujimoto just cannot write. Fittily enough, this series got an anime adaptation by Disney, which explains all the Mickey Mouse nonsense that happens throughout this series. It's just a generic shonen where nothing of substance happens all throughout its entire runtime. It's just fight after fight with pointless dialogue and no character development and no characters of interest. I like Angel Devil, she's really pretty and really cool. I like whenever she hangs out with Adam. Himeno is also really cool, but I hate Kobeni because I hate annoying women. You would think that after 7,000 chapters that Fujimoto would come up with at least one interesting idea, but no, it just sucks throughout the entirety of its run. But yet for some reason Shonen Jump still keeps Fujimoto around and they keep making him pump out these chapters week in and week out like he's a machine, and to be honest, from the very start there was no promise, so I don't know what they saw in him. It's a shame too, because all the chapters he wrote could have been sent towards series that deserved it, such as me and Roboco. But instead, no, he gets to thrive, while the heavy hitters like Boruto, no, they don't get anything. Oh, and by the way, it's not even Dennis that has the ability to turn into Chainsaw Man. Yeah, it's his dog, Pluto. It's so disgusting, dude. Can he do anything on his own? It's disgusting. Like, come on, Devin, like, please. He's a spoiled brat that had a wonderful life, and to be honest, it sucks. I hate watching him as a protagonist. He pales in comparisons to zeniths of the shonen medium, such as Takamichi from Tokyo Revengers. I think Fujimoto has to take a couple of notes here. But he's not the only one that has to take notes, because next I have to talk about the dumpster fire that is Naoki Urasawa's Monster. So, let me ask you something. When you hear a manga called Monster, what do you think about? Sasquatch, Godzilla, King Kong, Loch Ness, Goblin, Ghoul, zombies with no conscience. And question, what do all these things have in common? Everyone knows that they're all monsters. So could you imagine my disappointment when I started reading this manga after years of everyone singing its praises, only to find out there is no monsters. There's no goblins, there's no ghouls, there's no skeletons, there's nothing in this manga. So get this, okay? Monster, it's about a lame doctor. Some stupid Japanese doctor who works in Germany, and he's like, ooh, I have morals, ooh, I want to save a child. Bro, where are their demons? I think Urasawa and Fujimoto need to swap places, because obviously somewhere among the lines their wires got crossed and never really recovered. Instead of being like a noble doctor that helps out the rich and the wealthy, this stupid idiot Dr. Tenma wants to help the poor who can't even pay to be treated. What's he even thinking? The manga even starts with him failing to save some loser, like... The manga starts with him failing to save the husband of some loser farmer poor lady, and he's like, haha, no, actually, no, he doesn't go, haha, he's like, oh, boo-hoo, I'm so sad I couldn't save your dumb poor husband. If I was in this manga, it would have been so different. I would have been killing people left and right, let me tell you. Oh, and newsflash, the little kid that Dr. Tenma happens to save, yeah, he's a serial killer, get over it. He's the most interesting part of this manga because he showcases how dark and evil mankind can truly be, and this manga is just a cesspool of just negativity and just nothing redeeming about mankind. There are no acts of kindness throughout this series. There's nothing good that ever happens to any of the characters. Every character introduced is a demon in disguise, and I hate this series. If anything, I think this manga could have been 100 times better if it was just Johan going around Europe and just killing unassuming people. If Urasawa had the brain capacity that exceeded that of a middle schooler, he probably could have written a much better manga than this. Something similar in the vein of, I don't know, Himoto Umaru-chan. That in and of itself is a zenith of the seinen medium and showcases how dark and fantastical mankind can truly be, which is something that Monster will never be able to achieve. If you want a better monster manga, I heavily recommend Monster Musume. I own every single copy on my shelf. I'm not going to show you a photo, but you can imagine it in your head right now. Monster also happened to get an anime adaptation, funnily enough again by Disney, which showcases that this company knows when Mickey Mouse manga is in need of an anime production. Maybe they'll go back and actually adapt One Piece, but until then, let's not keep our fingers crossed, because really, we don't need more garbage anime flooding our systems. And alas, speaking of garbage, we have to settle with the worst manga I've read in my life. Jujutsu Kaisen by Gege Akutami. In every way, shape, and form, this manga is just terrible and cannot compare to giants of the shonen medium, such as Fairy Tail, and that's it. Chapter 1 stars some kid named Eugene, who's apparently good at sports, but we never really see it. It's never really fleshed out. We don't know anything about Eugene. And you know what he does? Get this, okay? He's in an occult club, and his friends are getting attacked by ghouls. Oh. And what does he do? He eats a finger, and he expects that to help him. So when Eugene eats a finger, he gets superpowers and gets like this devil reincarnated living inside of him. But when I eat a finger, I get kicked out of Chuck E. Cheese and there's a warrant for my arrest. It's just unrealistic, and really that's part of what kills this series for me. Honestly, I don't think there's enough writing. I don't think there's enough dialogue explaining what these characters do or what their powers are capable of, and it's just really annoying. The main cast is just a knockoff of Naruto, with Eugene being Naruto himself, Megan being Sasuke, Nobara being Sakura, and then Gogo being... with Gogo being Kakashi. Are we in like some sort of drought? Like, are these mangaka just unable to come up with creative ideas or like original ideas? Because this is just disgustingly blatant. The magic system in Jujutsu Kaisen is the same thing as Hunter x Hunter, where they're just way too simple and there's nothing that they do with it. All of the abilities are way too familiar and there's no creativity in anything that's done. And that's not even getting started on how lame the uniforms are. Man, I forgot to talk about this when I was talking about Chainsaw Man, but what uninspired and boring costumes that everyone has to wear. In Chainsaw Man, all the women are wearing suits. Ew, yucky. Then in Jujutsu Kaisen, all the characters are wearing like these trash bags or these lame Jujutsu High uniforms, and they just suck, dude. There is no drip here. See, what they really should have done is taken inspiration from my favorite character from my favorite game, Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. As you can see in his character design, he is covered head to toe in drip, and I think Fujimoto and Akutami both could have taken a lot of notes here when it came to character design. It's just really disheartening to see just that Jump will publish anything nowadays. The state of manga is absolutely in shambles, and I don't think we will ever truly recover from it. But alas, those were some of the worst manga I've ever read in my life. And it's been a displeasure having to talk about all of those. I hope that after this video you guys avoid these series like the plague and pay them no mind if you ever happen to see them in your travels. They are simply worthless, and I think society as a whole would benefit if these manga did not exist. This has been Ash. Thank you for watching. Special thank you goes out to all of my patrons: Is a Polaroid, Joe Papa 73, Sarah Lolita, Borpulus Bunny, Real Sethery, Loose, Vento, Sea Crowns, Kiwi, Sneaky the New Guy, V, Andrew, Audrey, Braystar, Sogon, Angong, Amatiramisu, Logan, Sianaru, Jiva, and Chelsea. Thank you guys all so much for your support as always, and happy April Fool's Day, everyone.